It can be challenging when it comes to teaching fractions. Can any teachers out there feel me on this one? It's challenging because a lot of the times our students don't recognize fractions as numbers, and instead they view them as symbols that they might have learned in a previous math class when an object was shaded into equal parts. However, research suggests that utilizing a number line can effectively illustrate that fractions are indeed numbers. So in today's video, I'm going to show you a simple way to introduce fractions on a number line to help deepen our students' understanding. And so when you're ready, give this video a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive in and get started. So when it comes to introducing something new, such as fractions on a number line, I always try to introduce with a concrete representation. So in 3rd grade, your students should have a strong grasp on using a number line, and they should know what a fraction is. However, they have never really seen the two put together. So to teach this concept, I like to bring in another familiar tool, which is fraction bars, and that is what we are going to be using today. So for this activity, your students are going to need a few things. First, they are going to need a set of fraction bars, and if you don't have enough for each student to have their own, then you can easily put them into pairs or groups so that they can share. Or you can use a set of printable fraction bars like I have included in my 3rd grade fraction unit. You're also going to need a blank number line work map. And so this is the one that we are going to be using. And this is something that you can easily create on your own as well. And then they're also going to need either a pencil or different colored crayons to write or draw with. So first, to set the stage, I like to ask them, do they think that their open number lines, do they think that they can be a fraction? Some will probably automatically say no, while others might look at the fraction bars that they are going to be using and think that it's possible. So after we have a discussion and I hear what they think, then I'm going to explain to them that a number line can be represented as a fraction because the distance between 0 and 1 on their number line represents one whole. So first, to guide their thinking, I'm going to have them use their halves fraction bars, and I'm going to ask how could they mark one whole on their number line and how they think that they could determine their answer. And so before I'm modeling and actually showing them how you would place a fraction on a number line, I just want them to use their manipulatives to explore to see if they can figure out the answer. Then what they're going to do is, then I am going to model using the halves tiles, and I'm going to place them along the top of the number line. Then using their pencil, or if you want them to use a different colored crayon or marker, maybe you want them to use the color that matches their fraction tiles, completely up to you. But you are going to have them trace along the tiles, along their number line with a crayon or pencil, just like this. Once they have traced their fraction bars, then you can have them come back and label each fraction. And then what I really like about this visual is they can actually see where their tick mark would go on the number line to show halves, that this number line is divided into 2 equal parts. So then they're going to draw their tick mark and label. Now we can label our number line starting with 0. Our middle point, our tick mark, is going to represent 1/2, and then our ending point is going to represent 1. And this allows them to visually see the fractions that make up a whole on a number line. After we have done it with halves, then you can repeat the process using a different set of fraction tiles. So for example, let's try fifths. They're going to take their fraction bars and line them up along their number line. Now, if you wanted, and this is going to be depending on your grade level, you can have them trace each individual one. Or if you wanted, you could go ahead and you could have them label their tick marks. And to do this, they are just going to draw a line where each fraction bar connects. So maybe you have them do it just slightly above so they can see. So right here where our first two fraction bars, that's going to be mark number 1, mark number 2, 3, 4, and 5. Or you can have them trace the entire thing. That is going to be completely up to you. I'm just kind of giving you another option. Then you can move those fraction bars out of the way, and you can then label your number line. So we're going to start with 0, 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, and then 1 or 5/5. That's going to be completely up to you. And so this just allows them to visually see how fractions make up a whole on a number line. Another option, if you wanted your students to keep the chart, or if you wanted them to keep the paper that they are working on to use as a reference, what I would do is I would have my students cut around this box, and then they could glue it into their math journal to use as a reference. And then when they're ready and we start talking about equivalent fractions, then they have this to refer back to as well. Another way that you can practice fractions on a number line is by using linking cubes. And so with this activity, your students are going to need a set of linking cubes and then just some plain basic fraction cards. If you don't already have some like printed out, you could easily create your own on index cards or sticky notes. And then they're also going to need a whiteboard, a dry erase marker, or you could have them write in their math journal. So let me show you how this one would work. So first you're going to show your students a fraction card, and they should gather the correct amount of one color cubes to match the numerator. So in this fraction, it represents 3/5. So first you're going to show your students a fraction card. They should gather the correct amount of one color cubes to match the numerator. So my numerator is 3, so they are going to choose 3 cubes of another. And then they're going to add a second color cubes to create the bottom number, which is the denominator. So we have 3 here, and then they should know that they need 2 more to make 5. So one color is going to represent the numerator, and then both colors are going to represent the denominator. Then you're going to have them lay their cubes down and connect them together like a number line would look. Then it's going to be very similar to what we did with our fraction bars. They are going to lay their cubes down, and then they are going to trace the length of their cubes to create a number line. And then they are going to draw their tick marks where each cube connects to one another. And I like this because, again, this is just another visual representation for them to see where their tick marks should go. So their tick marks are going to go where each cube is connected. Then they will label their number line with the fractions underneath. Then once they have created their number line, then you can ask them some simple questions such as, what fraction of your cubes are blank? So in this example, you might say, what fraction of your cubes is blue? And you could have them write out or you could have them write their answer in a sentence, or you could just have them just write the basic fraction of how many cubes are blue. So in this example, 3 fifths of the cubes are blue. 2/5 of the cubes are orange. Then you can have them draw dots along their number line to plot the fraction that they created. So 3/5 are blue and 2/5 are orange. Once your students have that understanding that fractions are indeed numbers shown on a number line, then they are ready to actually plot fractions on a number line. They're ready to compose them, and they can start comparing them. So if you are looking for fraction activities to use in your classroom, I have added some links to the description below this video. There you can find the printable work mat from the activities in this video. If you've got any questions, do not hesitate. Drop me a comment below. You guys have a blessed one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.